Hi guys, I figured I'd make a short video and show you pictures of the project that I just completed. The short version of the story is I went out to change the cutting blades on my Cub Cadet Enduro XT1 lawn tractor. I got it up on the tractor stand so I could get underneath it to remove the blades. I got the blades off and this is what I saw. If you notice, there's a whole bunch of mud in here. I mean, a lot of mud. These are goat head stickers, by the way. That's what makes my tires go flat. Anyway, this is what it looks like on it. If you're looking at the front of the tractor, this is on the right side under the deck. This right here with the red circle around it is the deck water clean out jet. And that's supposed to squirt the water up in here and clean all this mess out. Well, as you can see, it didn't do worth a damn, did it? All right, let's take another step in our adventure here. This is on the left side over toward the exhaust port where it's not exhaust, but the ejection port where it's supposed to blow all the cut grass out of. If you notice, once again, there's a bunch of mud right here all over in this area. This, by the way, is a blade holder, so you can undo the nut on that spindle to take the lawnmower blade off. All right, this is on the same side. This is on the left side if you're looking at it from the front of the tractor. Once again, look at the ridges of mud right here. I mean, it's really bad. Okay, this is looking in the exhaust chute where the grass comes out. I've got the chute lifted up right here so you can see in here. Look how thick that mud is right there. This stuff is the same kind of stuff you can take and put in a form and make adobe bricks out of. That's how hard this stuff is right here. This is a pile of that junk, that mud that I chipped off of underneath that cutting deck when I was changing the blades. I tried to chip it off and I thought, well, I'm 73 years old and I have a hard time laying on my back underneath something anyway. And I said, well, I got this far and I said, you know what, to hell with it. I'm going to pull that deck off of that tractor. All right, I got the deck off the tractor and I got it turned upside down. And I came up with a bright idea. Yeah, right. I'm going to squirt it with a hose and just see if it won't wash out. Yeah, right. What you see right here is after I squirt it with a hose, and by the way, it didn't wash anything out, this is how dry underneath, like right here is, it looks wet. You go to chip it off and it's bone dry underneath there. See it? Well, underneath that, from me running this thing the various times that I mowed the yard with it and used that clean out port, all it did was add more mud on there. Well, actually, the mud was already there. It just got a little damp and added another layer on it. But if you look right here, there's rust. And what that's from, it's from this not being taken off by that clean out jet and keep getting layer by layer by layer of this mud. And the moisture gets under it and in between the mud and the metal of the cutting deck, and it starts to rust. Okay. Here's another view of it. You see the rust right here really good. This stuff is like chipping rocks in a rock quarry. This is after I took my cup wire brush right here and started knocking that stuff off of there. And it took it down pretty good. I mean, I didn't get it all off yet. This is just about the point I quit on the first day because, well, I'd been up since 1 o'clock that morning. Here's another look at it. You can see how much I've got done. Look at the difference. See, it's cleaned it off, and over here, I've chipped off the big chunks over here, but it's still got mud on it. There's a better view. Here you can see the mud right here, and of course, this right in here is where the rust is. All right, look right here. That's the water jet port. Look at the angle of it. It shoots water in this direction, there and there, okay? And that's supposed to go in there and hit alongside there and, of course, be squirt down onto the blades. And this blade's supposed to sling it over on this blade, and then that slings it out the port. Well, I got news for you. It don't work worth a damn. You can tell by looking at the mud that was on this thing and what's on this. That clean-out jet doesn't work worth a damn. All right, this is another look. This is when I quit the first day. You can tell the sun's come up and I'm beat. Like I said, I'd been up since 1 o'clock that morning working on this stupid thing. Okay, I went back out the day after, because the following day after I worked on it, it was windy and I just didn't feel like messing with it. I got all the mud cleaned off of it. Well, most of it. There's still some right here by the water jet. But you can see that I got all the mud off of it. You can also see right here, this is where the rust was. This is the worst section that has rust on it. So anyway, that's what it looked like after I got through cleaning it with a wire brush. There's another view. Now at this point, I made a decision. I was thinking about taking and painting it underneath here with Rust-Oleum. You know, put Rust-Oleum primer on it and then paint it black again. Well, I made a decision. I got to think, well, all I'd be doing is covering up this rust right here. And what I wanted it to do is, I guess what you call breathe. And perhaps these lawnmower blades, when it's running, being that we have very sandy soil, might happen to help knock some of that rust off. You know, like in a word, sandblast it. So that's why I didn't paint it. And also, had I painted it, the first time I ran it and cut the yard, all they'd do is take that sand and knock the paint off that I just put on it. So it would be like a worthless gesture trying to paint the darn thing. There's a better look at it. Once again, this is not mud. That right there, that's rust. There's rust here. Up in here, there's light rust right there. Anyway, you get the picture. All right, I decided I'd pull that wash jet out of that port and hook it up to the garden hose, and I wanted to see what the spray pattern was on it. Well, here it is. This is looking straight on at it, and you can see the way the water comes out of that clean-out jet. It goes out in the fan and supposedly shoots it up against the sides of the cutting deck, and of course the lawnmower blades catch it and sling it around. Okay, here's a side look at it. Imagine if this is underneath the deck, this is the angle right here that spray pattern comes out of. Now, just looking at that, to me, that tells me it don't do a whole hell of a lot, because what good is it having the spray pattern squirt down toward the ground? It should be more off at a straight angle up against the underside of the deck. But anyway, there you have it. See it? I may replace this in hopes that maybe this is a faulty water jet, but who knows? Okay, I finally got around. I put the new blades on the deck. And this is the old blades that I took off of it. Now, if you look at it, look at the tips of these compared to the tips of these. This area right here is all chewed off, right there. Right here, on this edge, that one, on that edge. Believe it or not, this is from cutting that prairie grass out in the yard with that sandy clay soil. It actually sandblasts the tips of these blades off. Okay, this is only a set of blades that has been on this lawnmower for 2 seasons. So actually that's probably mowing the yard a total of 5, 6 times. Look at the shape of the tip of those blades. Look at that. This is the mud on the blades. Look at that. Now here's the thing, and I said this before a lot in the video I made. I wash this cutting deck out every single time that I use that lawnmower. Every time. And I ran water through that jet for 15 to 20 minutes at a time. Okay? And of course you got to sit on a lawnmower while it's running, because if you get off the seat, it shuts down the motor. So you're sitting there and you're looking down at the top side of the deck, and you're kind of watching what's being slung out underneath it. In other words, is anything being cleaned out. There was big chunks of mud that was being slung out, but it wasn't getting all of it. Matter of fact, it wasn't getting about 90% of it. So anyway, in conclusion about this little video, this washing jet right here, this clean out jet, doesn't work with a dam. It doesn't. If anything, on a deck like this, you ought to have 2 of those ports. One there and another one perhaps over here or maybe there. And the jet spray pattern ought to be different, because it's not doing the job. By the time you squirt water up on this blade that's running and it slings that mist over on this blade, all you're doing is putting mist on the gunk that's in this right here, and it's not cleaning it out. So anyway, that's the end of the video, folks. I hope this thing helped somebody, but this is the shape that those blades were in when I took them off and I noticed all that mess underneath that cutting deck. Okay, that's it, folks.